What's up, everyone? This is SojuTalk, your weekly shot at K-pop for the last regular episode of 2022. I'm Doug, and joining me today we got Warren.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And Anita.
Hello.
All right, I also forgot to mention it's episode 214. We're recording on December 5th. I got a little excited there, you know. As a quick reminder, though, check out SojuTalk on your favorite podcast platform, sub to us on YouTube, and join the SojuTalk Discord and be a part of the nation. We have announcements, and we also have a sponsor, so let me get the sponsor first. SojuTalk episode 214 is brought to you for the final time by Minty Joy. So Minty Joy is that handmade jewelry brand that uses only the finest pressed dried flowers and leaves. Minty Joy is still promoting their newly released Baby's Breath collection, which is a modern classic style that fits almost every outfit for both dress and casual wear. To find Minty Joy, visit mintyjoy.com or mintyjoy.etsy.com. Domestic orders in the United States are guaranteed to arrive by Christmas if you order by the 13th. So keep that in mind when you visit mintyjoy.com or mintyjoy.etsy.com. But for the month of December, Minty Joy has been gracious enough to give us a set of their tiny Queen Anne's lace earrings in purple. I'm kind of trying to show it on the screen if it focused.
Oh,
there we
there
go.
it is. There it is.
Wow.
To give away to one of our listeners. So to enter, you have to join our Discord at discord.gg/SojuTalk and type a message in the Minty Joy giveaway channel. Because we don't have a regular episode next week, I'm going to pick out the winner this Friday on December 9th. And then I will DM you on Discord. And then this giveaway is only for listeners in the United States. So keep that in mind. All right. So if you're on the Discord and you listen and you're from the United States, please enter the giveaway and I will let someone know on Friday that they won and I will send them their giveaway winnings. Boom.
Nice.
Shout out to Minty Joy. They've been a good sponsor for the show.
Thank you,
they've
Minty
done it.
Joy.
Okay. Warren,
That's me.
let us know what's going on.
All right. Well, like you mentioned earlier, Doug, today's the last regular episode of the year. Can't believe this year is over already. Almost over. We have a month to go, which means for the next couple episodes, we have a couple special episodes coming out. And the main reason we're doing this is because for most of December, I'm actually gonna be in Korea. Why I'm visiting, what I'm doing there, you guys will find out soon. I'm taking my camera with me to get some content going, you know. I have like I don't know where it went, but I have like a phone gimbal and all those crazy things.
Vlogger.
Look at me, content creator. Woo! Anyways, so here's the upcoming schedule and what we're doing for the rest of the remaining of the year, right? We're starting off today, episode 214, regular old episode 214. We're still good, right? Episode 215. We're going to go back and look at what happened in 2022 for a review of this year and start giving out some predictions for K-pop in 2023, right? For December 20th and 27th with episode 216 and 217, we're going to switch it up a bit. Doug and Anita won't be there, but I'm going to stick around. I have a special episode of an indie review and a K-hip-hop review with one of us, with a special guest from Discord, and we're gonna be going through some of the music releases from 2022 that might be outside of K-pop, but still within the Korean music industry. So if you're into that kind of stuff, K-hip-hop and R&B is gonna happen on December 20th, and then other indie genres is gonna happen on December 27th. Yep. Once we get back from December, on January 3rd, we're going to be holding we're going to be having episode 218 with the annual SojuTalk Awards.
Boom.
We haven't figured out when we're going to record, but we're going to do that, and we're going to go through some of our best picks for this year. That's kind of exciting. And here's another part of it that's going to be exciting for people who might be listening. And actually another reason to go join the Discord if you're not into purple earrings by any chance, right? We started doing this last year. We're doing it again. We have a special event going on through the month of December called the K-pop World Cups. So this is kind of like the actual real world FIFA World Cups, but instead we're pitting songs against each other to find out song of the year from K-pop. Now we're, essentially we are, pitting songs against each other. We're voting on them every day in like a tournament style, so that you start with 16, then you end up with like 8, 4, 2, and then 1. And that's how we figure out Song of the Year. And that's going to have a significant influence over Song of the Year in episode 218 with SojuTalk Awards. So if you want to have your voice be heard in that, go check it out. Last year, people had a shit ton of fun. I had a ton of fun. I hope it is going to be fun again this year. Another cool aspect of it, for those of you guys who are already on Discord, people who make top 3 best predictions are going to win a year worth of Discord Nitro Basic, as well as a special
Title.
role. Right, a special title. Last year's one of our listeners won the title of Big Brain. I'm going to come up with something stupid again, and you're going to own it like it is yours, because it's going to be yours if you win. Anyways, if that's interesting to you right now, we're doing song submissions phase, which means you're essentially allowed to submit up to any 16 K-pop releases from this year as much as you want. Actually, no, just up to 16. From there on, we're going to have group stages, and then we'll go into the tournament stages. If this sounds interesting to you, if this sounds fun to you, I would go check out the Discord and go to the channel. What is it called? Channel is called Vote K-pop WC, as well as Talk K-pop WC, to talk about stuff that's coming up and whatnot. So yeah, come join the fun. Come join us. That's all for me, Doug. Thank you for giving me this room to space and talk.
Okay, let's just get into the big new releases for this week. On Tuesday, Kara released When I Move with their big reunion thing. On Wednesday, we had ITZY's CHESHIRE. I'm gonna struggle to pronounce that. Can someone CHESHIRE? Right? Is that right? That has to be right.
Yeah, that sounds right.
CHESHIRE.
Okay. No, it's not that.
She's
and then
higher.
Friday,
Not that.
BTS's RM released Wildflower featuring UG. Let's start at the top though. Kara, When I Move. So they were originally from DSP, but I don't think at this point any of them are under DSP. So this track was released under RBW.
Yep.
And then they debuted all the way back in 2007, and their last 3 songs were Cupid, Mamma Mia, and Damaged Lady, with 25 music show wins over their career. If y'all don't know, Kara was a big deal back in the day.
Yes.
They were like number 2 to Girls' Generation in terms of girl groups for a decent amount of time, I would say. Right? Is that fair?
Yes. Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, 2 or 3. You would throw Wonder Girls in the mix too.
Here's the thing. That used to be a hot take, because people would be like, they're number 1, you know?
Whoa.
True.
Right.
But basically, back, like, you know how we were blessed with Twice, Blackpink, Red Velvet? Back in the day, it was a discussion of Girls' Generation, Wonder Girls, Kara, maybe a little bit of Tiara once in a while in there. That was kind of the people that were talked about.
Yeah.
But Kara was a big player, is pretty much what I'm trying to say. They were a big deal. People knew who these kids were. They were on a lot of other programs. It was a gigantic deal. They finally come back. Like I believe the group kind of broke apart. So there was member switches at certain points, and then they kind of stopped doing their thing in 2016. So it has been 6 years.
It's been a minute.
Wow.
It's been a minute since there are probably a vast majority of our listeners who were not around when Kara was active. So this is their introduction to them.
Oh.
Overall, though, I feel like the song's pretty good, right? I don't think it was anything too offensive. Do I think it's a banger? I probably wouldn't give it that, but overall, as someone who was a big Kara fan back in the day, I think it's a pretty fun track for them. I think it's kind of age appropriate. Overall, good vibes.
I mean, yeah, I think I would agree. Maybe my perception of this comeback is also a little skewed because I did listen to them quite a bit back in the day when they were promoting, I guess, more consistently. I don't know. I feel like even after all this time, I feel like they have retained their sound that I associated with them. I'm not too sure who produced this one, but I feel like that sound was very much captured in this one, even though it's been so long. It's like very dancey, very cool, very crisp, I want to say.
Ooh, crisp.
Yeah, I guess especially with this one, I feel like it was very polished, and their seniority, like their experience shows in this comeback. But yeah, I feel like they have retained what I associate with them.
Seniority,
kinda-
yeah, maturity.
Mm.
This is the kind of sound I like to call like house pop, K-pop house pop,
Yes.
standard stuff. ITZY was a big player in this genre, right, with Lavian Rose, Fiesta, whatnot. This one is obviously a lot slower than those two other tracks, but like you mentioned, I think the slowness of the actual BPM and the tempo really just adds a little more to the maturity. I think that's really cool because that's who Kara is. They're not rookies. They're not trying to act like they're rookies. They're not trying to act like they just debuted yesterday. They don't need to do that. And I feel like you have a point there, especially because I feel like I'm a little more objective here because as much as I love Kara, I was the SNSD fan when it came to the SNSD versus Kara battles online.
Bro, my allegiance wavered at times. That's all I'll say.
You flip flopped.
Unroyal.
Yeah, I was a flip flopper back in the day. Yeah.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, I do agree with you. This does feel like we're jumping back into what Kara left off of. Especially if you think about releases like Mamma Mia, which
Damage Lady, Cupid were all sort of similar to this.
Right. They were already leaning into this kind of sound, and the member lineup was obviously different. Kuwara passed away in between then. This was already after Kang Ji-young and Nicole had left the group, so it was a 4-person deal with Youngji thrown into the mix, right, at that point. So we have never seen this combination of 5 folks before, but I feel like for the most part it mixes really well. I enjoy hearing Youngji's voice with the more familiar voices of Kang Ji-young and Nicole, and in particular Cutie, who I think her voice is yet to be replaced, I guess. Like she has a very unique voice. That's her own thing. She's incredibly great at singing,
She
and she
has
maintains
such
all
a
that.
like a Gen 2 girl group voice. Like
Right.
I don't know how to put my finger on it.
Yeah, no,
But
yeah.
when she sings, there's like nostalgia, right, to that type of sound back in the day.
And I feel like that was really cool because I feel like they weren't cheaping out by like playing to like they weren't going too deep into the path of throwing back into like
Yeah.
the nostalgia train, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay, yeah, I agreed with that because my biggest issue with the Girls' Generation song was that I was like, we understand you're coming back. You don't have to tell us. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was a point that I
Right.
made. Like, I feel like all these groups who are reuniting are making reunion songs when you don't need to do that. You know.
okay.
That being said, it's like I'm curious as to how our listeners, the youngins, are digesting this song, right? Because for me, as much as it's about the song, it's also about the event, right? So
The history.
I got the rose tinted glasses on, my Kara tinted glasses, right? So I'm having a great time. I'm watching it. I'm like, oh yeah, you do that, like I'm just happy. Like for someone like Kang Ji-young, who was my bias in this group, I never thought she was gonna step foot in Korea again. I thought she fully went Japanese actress mode and disappeared, right?
Basically Nihonjin at that point, yeah.
Yeah, but she came back and I was like, I'm so happy to see you and stuff. But like, basically what I'm saying is I don't think my evaluation of the song is it's biased. I'm gonna be honest here. It's completely biased.
You're telling me that you are subjective and not
It's
objective?
100% subjective.
How dare you? We are
But I will
objective.
also subjectively say it's not like this song's a top 10 song of the year.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could see that. I feel like more than anything, I compare it to, I guess, what I consider like their top hits. Lupin,
Mr.
Step Up, Step. Is that the name?
Step it up.
Yeah, I feel like there's like really, really like iconic tracks from them, right? So I feel like I will always compare like the newest release, right, to like that hit, right? I feel like this is not that hit in that level, but it still retains a lot of the good stuff that I associate with them. And I think the reason why I found it like to be a little lackluster in comparison to those other songs is the chorus. I feel like it was a little too like much of a loop. Like I felt like it repeated quite a bit. Like it felt short, but it repeated a lot. And I think there could have been a little bit more of a dynamic vibe to it. I feel like when I think of those hits that I mentioned, I feel like, oh, there's a really like strong point in the chorus.
They had
Like there's a
explosive
journey.
choruses.
Yeah.
With explosive choreography in the choruses.
That's true.
That was the calling
Iconic
card.
stuff.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 la 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 la.
No, I agree with you on that, Anita. I feel like if we had a more explosive build up into a chorus with some like Baeunjung choreography all of a sudden,
Oh.
that would have been the recipe for success, I think.
Here's the thing, though. I get that point. I get that. I do get that. Don't get me wrong. I understand where you're coming from. I understand your perspective, your eyes. I don't have your eyes, but I see where you're coming from. I see what you're seeing. But I guess I'm not comparing this to the recent K-pop girl group releases, right? I'm not comparing.
Yeah,
this
it's kind
to
of
albums.
independent of that. Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's independent of anything either, because I am comparing this to a large amount of second generation groups that came back this year, including Big Bang, Girl Generation. A couple weeks ago, we had EXID.
Right.
Right, we've had a lot of that this year. I wouldn't say it's like a theme for this year, but we've had a lot of that, and this feels pretty complete in that small set of 4 songs I just mentioned, where a lot of people criticize the Big Bang song for just being another Big Bang thing that they've, done a million times at this point, or Girl Generation for what Doug mentioned as like you're having a comeback about having a comeback. That's kind of a comeback exception that doesn't make sense. So,
It's about the comeback, right? Like it's themed on that.
Right. And I guess with that in mind and how lackluster I felt the Excited track was, overall this feels generally well-rounded and well-built, but only because I also feel like it's not taking a huge amount of risk. But then again, do they need to? I don't think so, which is why I think your chorus ends up being not very explosive and just kind of there and repetitive, because you're basically doing the second generation trope of repetitive choruses without the aggressive synths of like for Jump It Up there it's like ba-dum 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 bum ba-dum, that thing, that's where I felt how that ends up feeling, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, overall, I'm just happy that they're back. I with a lot of these reunions or coming back together, I'm just not sure. Like, are they like they never let you know? Is this a permanent thing? Are we gonna get more music?
That's true.
Like, they always have so much more like ambiguity, which is smart because things can happen, right?
I mean,
at the same time, as a fan, I'm like, can we just keep it?
Dude, we know the answer. Let's be honest. They'll keep doing it if it makes a lot of money.
Okay, that's facts. That's facts.
We'll see.
The thing with this comeback that's a little different from the other 3 I mentioned is that this is also a Japanese release. They're coming back with the same with an album in Japan with the same track list or a very similar track list in about a couple weeks. Which makes sense.
Kara was big in Japan too.
Right. If anything, I feel like they were bigger in Japan than they were in Korea.
I think the peak was longer in Japan.
Yeah. So who knows? If they make a lot of good money, they will continue to try to make good money.
That is true. On the KBS World, or there was like a KBS World channel or something like that. The description was in Japanese, not in Korean. So they are targeting it towards there. Let's move on to the second song. We got ITZY with CHESHIRE. They are from JYP debut 2019. Last 3 songs: Sneakers, Loco, Mafia, In the Morning. We had that one song in between there too, right? The one in English.
Yes, the 4th track of this EP.
What was it called? The Boys Like You.
Boys Like
You.
Yes.
I remember that one. Oh, by the way, more of my keys are breaking down.
Oh no.
My L key's going and my D key as well. So I have like 3 keys that are half broken.
Dude, buy a new keyboard.
Jesus.
We have it. It's giving. I'm gonna get it on Christmas. I gotta hold out 20 days. Okay. So they have 45 music show wins. That is ITZY. I am not the biggest fan of this song. I'm gonna be straight up here.
Oh.
Same.
Oh no.
I will extend that. I have not been completely on the ITZY hype train for a while.
In general.
I'm gonna say since the end of 2020. because
Oh,
that corresponds with the release timing of. Let me get my numbers here. Not Shy was in 2020. That was the last
you
release in
didn't like
2020.
that one?
No, I like that one. So I
Okay,
have
I
not
thought
been a
yes, that
huge
one was
fan
good.
of Mafia in the Morning, Loco, Sneakers, Boys Like You, Cheshire. That 5-song stretch
Oh wait, you're right.
has not been like the best thing for me. Now, I think there are parts of the song that are fine, but I think the biggest problem I have with the song is that whoever made the song or the decision makers behind choosing the song kind of misconstrued having powerful chorus or having an impactful chorus with just having a loud chorus. And I think that is the main critical error of this song.
So you're telling me it can be loud, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's high energy? What?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm trying to say.
What? That's not what K-pop thinks? Oh my god, no way.
I'm assuming you agree with me, though.
Yeah, I
right?
agree with you. Yes, that's why I'm doing the fake
that's the main
voice.
problem with this song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing. There are parts of the chorus I like. The la 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 parts. I forget the melody right now, but like la.
Dun, 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 dun,
No, that
dun.
part's awful. No.
No?
The part that comes after that. La 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 la.
Oh, that part. Oh, yeah.
Where it's a lot more melodic.
La 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 la. That one, right?
Right. And the whole I really like that part. Don't get me wrong. That part is great. The part that feels a lot more hip hoppy before that with the glitchy synths in the background. Hey, what's so serious, boy?
The beginning, yeah.
That part into like not 어렵게 생각만. Nothing's right. Can you that whole part feels like it doesn't flow well, like it kind of feels choppy, like you kind of Frankenstein's different songs together to kind of work, and you end up with this combination of things, which to me doesn't feel like it works. It doesn't work because it doesn't really flow well. And then you have the situation where you're being very loud. You have an instrumental that doesn't feel like it's doing a good job of being a good soundstage, for the members to really perform at their best, and just very bare for some reason. And it's kind of a letdown for me because I think for the most part I think I like the song more than you guys do, and that's because I really like the bridge. I really like the verses. The parts that are a lot more melodic. There's a bit of a piano playing and some like minimal drums.
The pre-chorus.
Right. All of that feels so clean. It's so good. It's so melodic. It feels like I'm listening to like a well-built B-side.
No, I like it all up until the chorus. I think it's fine.
Right.
Except the chorus.
And then you get to the chorus, which suddenly you're very yelly and very glitchy, and it feels like elements are not really well glued to each other, and they're just kind of floating on top of each other. I don't know. That's how I felt about the chorus, really.
Yeah, I feel like I would agree. I feel like, to be honest, I feel like there was a gap between like versus pre-chorus and then the chorus. Like it felt like there was a big switch, and I didn't necessarily feel like it was better. Like it just felt like, oh, we're doing this thing, and then suddenly it switched to a different direction in the chorus. And I think maybe that was on purpose, like more of a impact that was trying to be made.
Oh no!
I
Is
just
this
feel like
mix pop? Is that what it is?
Not quite. I mean, I wouldn't say go to that extent, but I feel like it was meant to be more like impactful, like shocking maybe. And I feel like it wasn't that. I don't know. I didn't receive it quite as positively as it might have been meant, because it felt off. I agree. I feel like there's some parts that feel off.
There's a certain energy that the chorus of this song gives off, which is sort of similar to Boys Like You, in my opinion. I don't know how to encapsulate like the vibe I'm getting. Is it arrogant? Is the word I'm trying to like?
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, hey, am I your mommy? Like that type. No, like similar to that. There's a similar Ryujin part in the chorus as well, right? She like talks like.
Oh yeah.
They're giving off the same type of vibes there.
Kind of, I guess.
I don't. Yeah, there's like like, dude, you could be arrogant in the K-pop songs. This thing is fine, right? I'm not saying it as a negative
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
a
just saying that
character.
that's just like the character is what they're going for.
Well,
in it.
I think there's a very thin line between confidence and being arrogant. And I used to identify ITZY as the confident girls. Now it sounds like you're telling me they're the arrogant girls, which I feel like it's a very different concept, but very, very
In
similar.
character. In character. Yes.
I don't think I'm really all wrong with that though, right?
I
don't know.
understand why you're saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just something about like I see people always on Copium in the ITZY like forum section, comment sections,
Calling
right?
out the midzies over here.
I'm not calling them out, but everyone just says, man, like this is not the old stuff, but I'm still okay with it, right? But like everyone has to start off with that. Everyone prefaces their comment now with, y'all remember the old stuff? Like, like I see it in so many comments, and it's just like I get why you're saying that, but I'm like, isn't that an issue?
I mean, here's the thing, right? I am kind of in a similar boat with you, where I really liked the first 4 releases from ITZY. Dala Dala, ITZY, Wanna Be, Not Shy, great stuff. And then they realized they can't keep doing that forever, so they tried to shift a little bit with Mafia. Bad turn. Let's go try something else with Loco. Okay, also not a different turn. We're just gonna go back to what we were doing before, Sneakers, which was a lot closer to what they were doing before. But I think there were some technical issues with that track that kind of, didn't do a good job of capturing the original magic.
It charted better than the other 2 though.
It did.
Yeah,
and I feel like
it
did. I feel like that says something, especially for ITZY's future career, because unlike Twice, there's Hunbez. I still feel like they haven't really figured out a good transitional direction to take in their career. Whereas at the same time, actually, you know what? At the same time, I feel like they could have. They didn't have to do it so early,
The switch, you mean?
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, we're in a situation where the group that came out of JYP after ITZY and Mix is borrowing from a lot of hip hop sounds already. Why did we feel the need to use hip hop for Mafia in the morning? Did we not know what NMIX is gonna be like at that point? I thought they were planning that for a whole year. You know what I mean? Like, and it really feels like they were just shoehorning in like a forced transition, which didn't need to happen. And now we're in the situation in between things where we're not sure what kind of sound or concept or character to give ITZY, and you end up in a situation where the lyrics could be interpreted as confident or also arrogant, which I don't think is a bad thing, but at the same time it has the potential to be, and it's very different from what they originally began.
This song is not in top 30 on iChart at the moment.
I mean, it came out a week ago. Maybe it'll go back up. That being said,
like
week, right?
half of the chart is Yoonha songs, and Im Young-un songs is the top. Like half of it is them right now.
Not surprised.
Yeah, it's just an interesting thing because everyone recognizes that they're extremely talented. Everyone typically, it's just one of those groups that everyone likes. Typically, I don't see many ITZY haters. Everyone's like, yo, ITZY's kind of fun. ITZY's kind of cool. But at the same time, everyone typically agrees that, man, the songs have been interesting as of late, right?
Different, yeah.
I don't know. It's a very strange situation to me, right? Because it's like, maybe for me, if we got something that's working, right? We may rock the boat a little, but we ain't gonna dump the boat over and get a new boat, And especially, we got the new boat. We went back and tried the old boat. The old boat charted well, but no, let's do a different new boat. I don't know the decision making that's going on.
I think if I had to make a conspiracy theory, I think the idea was let's build off of the ITZY character that they kind of reestablished with Sneakers and try to give it more of a mature take. Now that they have Hubez below them, sure, but like at the same time, they only debuted 3 years ago. Do they already need to do like a mature version of like what they've already done before?
Here's the thing though. As much as I complained, their last album, Checkmate, sold over 1 million, so I can't complain too much.
Okay.
Because they are making a ton of money, independent of how I feel about song quality, right? so I can go shove it, honestly, because they're making so much money that I'm an idiot. But like at the end of the day, I don't think it's all about just album sales. You know, I think
I
there's a
mean,
lot more.
hopefully not. Yeah.
No, but
I just want a banger. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
I just want to be really excited about ITZY again.
well, the album Cheshire has almost it hasn't been a week yet, so we can't really tell what their first week sales are going to be, but it looks like it'll probably be over 600K. So
God damn, y'all are buying a lot of
Nice.
albums. Impressive.
still on the way
yeah.
up.
That being said, if you like the song for certain reasons, let us know. Right? I would love to hear if you think this is like one of their best songs ever.
Yeah.
I want to hear other people's opinions.
Hmm.
All right, let's move to the last song. We have BTS's RM with Wildflower featuring Eugene, and she's the lead singer of which band, Nito?
Cherry filter.
Cherry Filter, yes. So he's from Big Hit, debut 2010 with BTS. His last 3 songs were Bicycle, Forever Rain, and Change. 161 music show wins with BTS. This was really good.
Yes.
This music video was good. The
So
song was
pretty,
good.
Yeah.
The Yunha or what Eugene singing part was
Eugene-
really
Eugene.
good.
Sorry, what?
This was
New
a
Jeans? Is that what you said?
The meaning that the emotions, the storytelling, the messaging was all fantastic with this.
Wow, I didn't know you liked the song this much.
This is a good song.
Oh wow,
I really like the theming too. I think it makes complete sense.
wow.
Hmm.
For me, okay, I didn't read any press releases, so I have no clue what he was going for, right?
Yeah.
But for me, as someone who listened to the song maybe like 7 to 10 times, right?
Hmm.
It feels to me that this is an introspective song about once you've reached the mountain, right? Once you've climbed the mountaintop, right? Once you've summited Mount Everest, and you look back on the journey to get there, you think about like, have I lost sight of who I was when I was dreaming about this? Or now that I'm here, is this what I actually wanted? Has my freedom of becoming the top dog, is it now shackles actually? You know, like
Mm.
I'm getting all of these type of messaging from this song. And I think that makes complete sense based on where RM is in his career with BTS and how high they've gone in the industry. I think all of this makes complete sense. And you're having imposter syndrome. You're like, I made it at the top and I thought I'd be happy, but maybe I'm not. All these existential questions I think are fantastic things to talk about.
I thought you don't read the lyrics. You just stole all my notes.
Really? I
Sometimes
didn't write
he
anything
needs-
down. That was just off the top of my head.
I mean, I think for the most part, I kind of agree with you. I think one thing to add, I guess, is that I didn't find it to be one huge consistent narrative. Rather,
Yeah.
it felt like a series of small bits from how he has changed over his career. And I do want to point that out as a key difference, because if you're telling one constructive story, you're just going from start to end story, there's a climax, whatever. This, I definitely feel like there are little bits and pieces that feel a little inconsistent with each other, which might sound bad, but I really like, because it really feels like it gives dimension to RM as a human being. Because let's be honest, we're people. We change how we feel and think day in, day out, year in, year out. You know what I mean? Like yesterday I hated cucumbers, today I love them. He never talks about cucumbers, but you get the idea, right? That's I think like a really cool thing about not only this track, but this whole album, which has a very similar theming. And I didn't really dig into the lyrics enough to like have an actual comment about it, but it did feel like there was a lot of smaller bits that build into larger pictures, like we do with this track here, and I think that was really cool. One thing to note is that the track title in Korean is 들꽃 놀이, which isn't a real word. It's like a play on words called 들꽃 means wildflower, but 불꽃 놀이 means fireworks. So it's right. So it's like wildflower works, which
That's in the lyrics too.
right. That's kind of the message he's going for. He doesn't want to be the fire that goes out eventually. He wants to be a flower that might explode into the air, but shows out at the end, right? And is equally as beautiful, I guess. More of a firework person than a flower person, but that's cool. I appreciate that. I'll pause there for a second. Anita, how'd you feel?
Yeah, I mean, definitely agree on the lyrics. I thought they were very appropriate. I guess I was not surprised. I feel like I kind of expected this type of theming.
It makes sense.
It makes sense,
honestly.
yeah.
Yeah.
What I did really like was the instrumental, like the general sound. I thought was really cool. I guess because we kind of know him as a rapper, mainly within the group and outside, like for solo projects. So I feel like this felt more like melodic in a way. I don't know how to describe
he's more
it.
of a storyteller than a rapper on this song.
Yeah, and
That's
I
how
feel
it felt
like
like to me.
the instrumental really complemented that. There were certain parts of the beat that I felt were more like rock inspired in a way, and especially with the vocals of Eugene. It had like this mid 2000s vibe where like I would hear like a lot of like rapper duos or groups like do their verses, and then they have a vocalist featured, right? Usually female vocalist or maybe ballad vocalist, but they sometimes had like more of a rock tone as well, and I feel like that's what I was getting. I feel like that was a bit of a retro vibe in a way, but with a modern twist of this
I think
combination.
one thing to add to that is it's very clear that it makes sense, right? Because he's the generation that grew up with Epic High in the
Right.
background.
I was thinking of that. Yeah.
Right. And I feel like that influence is like pretty clear throughout the album. Not that I'm saying he's copying off of them, but more so the sounds are very new. Like, don't get me wrong, but the way he structured them, I can tell a couple tracks have been very influenced by it. Especially, which another cool thing is there's tableau on the third track of the album as
Oh,
well.
nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I will admit, we've had a couple solo projects come out of the BTS solo lineup so far, right? We had J-Hope earlier in the year with a hardcore grimy hip hop sound. We had Jin earlier with a trot voiced but in modern indie rock ballad thing. Suga hasn't released anything yet, but I'm more familiar with his solo stuff than the other folks because we've reviewed his stuff as August D. I remember listening to Mono. I thought it was alright. I didn't really go back to it a lot, but this one feels much more solid than.
This is the best out of the bunch. I'ma just say it.
Yeah.
100%
Oh, your
is.
favorite.
Yeah.
This is my favorite by far.
Yeah.
This was so well put together.
Easily.
Even the song, it sort of gave me like sort of anime climax vibes. Like,
I can see it. Yeah.
Let me paint the word picture, right?
What kind of genre?
This is like fantasy with swords. It's swords, right?
I need everybody's powers for the final attack.
It kind of feels like this kind of. It's the type of song where it's the final battle between the main character and like their childhood friend who was friend to rival.
no.
And they're like
No,
cutting
not the
blades and they're
friendship.
flying up into the sky,
enemies.
right? As they're fighting each other. And then you know how in those anime fights, they always use the silence. Like, let's say the one guy stabs the other guy and then it's silent, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And as they fall back to earth, this is the song that plays, you know? And they like show flashbacks of their childhood and like how did they got to this point, right? And then at the end, the villain smiles at the hero and they fall into the earth, right? That's the type of song this feels like.
That's a very specific scenario.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
That kind of song.
Yeah. I can
That's
see that.
the type of
I can
vibes
see
I was
that.
getting. Also, because of the music video was so cinematic, I was thinking like, oh, I could see it,
Yeah.
right?
That was a beautiful
Yeah.
music video.
This
Good
is a
lord.
fantastic music video.
Yeah, I
Lovely.
feel like what kind of not surprised me, but impressed me, I guess, was that there's a lot of like subtlety, like referencing like the colors, right? Like the purple was there for sure, but it wasn't like super obvious. Like you would kind of have to like pay attention, like the flowers, and then in the stage shot that they had, like you kind of have like it's there, but it's not as obvious. And I thought that was really cool because it made it like seem that the focus was still very much on like the song itself and like the message, but obviously there's also this theming and I guess visual clues to like the fans, of course. So I
Yeah.
feel like that was nice.
And once in a while, it's cool when K-pop makes you take a step back and you like think about the type of questions they're asking you into your own life. Like some of the questions I think you get from this, it's like, so you look at yourself now and you look back when you were younger, right, and what you were trying to strive for or whatever, and you're like, did I make it? Am I happy with where I am? Am I doing that kid who was like 12 years old proud? You know, all these type of questions is basically what he's asking, right? Like he's like, I wanted this so bad, and now I'm here, and I don't know how to process it or handle it, right? I think those are all things that people can relate to, because when we go through life, like when you're young or at certain points of your life, there's different expectations, right? And some of the goals you hit, some of them you might not hit, but it's all things we can ask ourselves.
I think it's one of the better messages to tell, especially with a hip hop artist take on kind of K-pop. If you think about a successful artist, how many messages can they tell while being relatable to their listeners? Not many. This would probably be the safest and most sensible option of the bunch, because how long can you brag about how much ice is on your neck? You know what I mean? Like it's fun, but like sure. And that's where I feel like RM as a rapper / lyricist, for me, feels a couple dimensions ahead of his other group mates. Don't get me wrong, Augusti, he's great. J-Hope, he's great guy. But I do feel like RM is kind of better than the others in terms of writing lyrics, putting things into
Your
words,
preference, yeah.
right, phrasings. I do feel like his flows feel still a little bit choppy, but way better than a lot of the other K-pop artists out there who have like a rapper focus to their careers. That being said, I still hear him, like, especially with this track, I felt like he was trying to choke his voice out in the beginning a little bit. But at this point, I'm not trying to complain about that, because the rest of it sells enough easily where, like, I'm not really bothered by that. And I was going to say one more thing, but I forgot what it was. So I'll pass it back to you, Douglas. Say something.
Do you want me to drop something insightful, or do you want me to talk about this in the K-pop sphere? Because this all got me very existential.
Dude, be existential. Why not, dude? How are you okay?
No, I'm fine. I think it's good to talk out therapy. You know, essentially, this is word therapy, right?
Yeah.
I think so. I'll just make a point similar to this song. It's like wherever you are in life, right? Whether you've reached all your dreams, whether you've tempered your expectations, right? Those are the two general outcomes to what's going on. I think you owe it to yourself in the present, and you owe it to yourself in the past to find peace with where you've gotten to. You know, you have to. There's the whole life of acceptance, or else you're gonna end up super old and super cranky about life, right? And I don't think that's a great way to go about it. You've all met this older person who's just completely bitter about their life, right? This like old cranky 80 or 70-year-old, 80-year-old, and you're like, this person's just miserable, right? Don't be that person. Is what I'm trying to say. I think that there is always time in your life, whether how old you are, you could be 70, 80, 90 years old, to find some kind of acceptance of what you've gone through, your path to where you are at the moment. And I think we all need to reach that point. Boom.
Wow.
I'm not 70, 80, 90, so I can't add to that yet. But
yes, you can. I said any point you can, dude. You can. Where you've gotten to versus where 20-year-old Warren thought you would get to are two very different things, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right? So even in the small scale, you could think about that. Or like a year ago, you set a New Year's resolution and you didn't reach it, right? Or you reached it, and you have to reflect on that. You have to find acceptance of that, because you ain't changing the last year. We don't have a time machine, you know?
Of course, yeah.
So it's all things like that you have to consider.
I get that.
Man, I got way too the motivational speaker.
It's not what I expected you to say, but I'll take it. That was very motivational,
all right.
sir.
Other big releases this week include P1 Harmony with Back Down.
I like that song.
Jung Ye-in, she's formerly of Lovelyz, right? With Bus Stop, and then Yoonji song released December 24, so clearly a Christmas song there. Vice King, last week, Red Velvet Birthday picked up 2 crowns. Second place was Boa's Forgive Me. Third place was N Mix with Funky Glitter Christmas. The 3 songs for this week are the the three new candidates are the three songs we covered this week. They're Kara's When I Move, ITZY CHESHIRE, and BTS's RM with Wildflower. As much as I like this Red Velvet song, you got to put RM in first place this week. Just saying.
Oh.
Hey.
I got Wildflower in first place. I got Birthday in second. And I got the Kara track When I Move in third. That is my part this week.
Okay.
Okay, that's pretty similar to mine. A little bit of a shuffle though. I'm gonna start in third. I put Birthday in third, Red Velvet.
Okay.
It fell off quite a bit, not gonna lie. And I had already mentioned that I was lukewarm about it in first place. But I mean, I saw some live stages, they're pretty good. There's just something that I feel like was trying to recreate some of the stuff that happened in Feel My Rhythm. Didn't quite think it was better. So
I agree with that take completely.
Yeah. But I still have it there. Second, I put When I Move by Kara.
Ooh.
I feel like it's definitely influenced by the nostalgia, of course, but I don't mind it. I think it did a really great job of like capturing the essence of the group, even though it's been so long. So I hope they keep releasing stuff in this sense, like trying to do what they do best. And lastly, I also have Wildflower in first place.
Let's go, Anita.
Yeah, I feel like also like the vocals. Eugene's vocals are like amazing. Like,
They're
she's
amazing.
a great vocalist. If you haven't listened to Check Your Filter, her stuff with them, amazing.
She gives
stuff.
me. We were talking about it. She gives off like Evanescence, Avril Lavigne singing,
Yes.
a Western style of like mid 2000s
punk,
2010
rock stuff.
punk rock sound is basically what she's giving off.
Love it.
Oh,
So first place.
she was most famous for her work as a punk musician in the early 2000s, though.
Completely makes
sense.
That would
sense.
make sense. Shout out to 낭만 고양이. I don't know what that is in English. Oh boy. I realize I'm the odd one out here.
Oh,
Ooh.
oh no.
You got Red Velvet in first, don't you?
I have Red Velvet in first. I do.
I figured.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured.
I feel like Red Velvet. Birthday is the red, while Feel My Rhythm is the velvet. I know that concept is not a thing anymore, but that's how I feel about it. I feel
I
like
wish it was. It was so much fun.
it feels like there are two sides of a coin, and I enjoy the coin. I put the coin in my piggy bank, and my piggy bank is now fat, and I sliced it open. Now I have a lot of money.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm trying to say there. What I'm trying to say is I think it's a cool song. I had it on loop this entire week. I'm still having fun with it. Yeah, not much more to say. I think it's one of the better K-pop tracks of the entire year.
Okay.
But
Alright.
I'm not deaf, so I'm putting Wildflower in second. Still a great song, a lovely track. I might have been a little less excited about the track, given there are other Korean hip hop tracks that kind of go this route, and maybe I might be a little more familiar with the sound already. I don't know. I'm guessing because for the most part, I still liked it. I wasn't as excited about it as you guys are, but for me, this also kind of represents how I feel about the album in general. Indigo. It is, at the end of the day, it's the debut LP of RM. Mono is a mixtape. That's mixtape, debut LP, different things. Overall, I was very impressed. I don't think his rap is perfect per se, but I think he knows how to use his voice really, really, really well, and it's incredible to listen to. Lovely stuff, really. And this is where I deviated even further because I have CHESHIRE by ITZY on third.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Did not see that coming.
Yeah, one thing I didn't really get to talk about when we were talking about Kara is if you take out the context of it, which, I mean, how much of that can you actually do? But if you take out the context that this is a Kara 15-year anniversary comeback track, kind of forgetful.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Yeah, it for the most part, it's simulating what K-pop has kind of sounded like for the last couple of years, with a bit of a matureness to it, with the voice of Kara members, which is cool enough. But at the same time, I can hear the Kara magic, but if I wasn't familiar with the Kara magic, I'm gonna guess I'm not hearing that Kara magic. So that's where I'm giving it the upper hand with ITZY CHESHIRE because, I mean, I like the verses and the build-up and just most of the chorus except for the, hey, are you serious? That
The
part.
beginning.
Yeah, that part is kind of funky. Other parts of it, I liked. La 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 la.
Okay, so this was the closest Gochu Gang vote of all time, right?
Whoa. Oh yeah.
First
Yep.
place ended up with 38 points. Second place got 37, and third got 35.
Throughout
Next.
the entire day, first, second, third places were continuing to change.
So first place ended up being Kara When I Move. Second place was RM Wildflower, and third place was Red Velvet Birthday. So those are clearly the top 3 favorite songs of the Gochu Gang, our patrons this week. As a result, in third place with 9 points is Kara When I Move. Second place with 10 points is Red Velvet Birthday. And first place, picking up his first crown, is RM with Wildflower, 16 points.
Oh, let's go.
Let's go.
Finally, we're at show winners, though. Anita, hit us with them.
Yes, we have a mix here. So Yoonha's Event Horizon keeps winning. Won again on Inkigayo. She has a total of 2 wins with this song. Congrats to her.
Let's go.
Im Young-un also winning again with London Boy on Show Music Core, so 2 wins as well for him. And then you have Tempest with Dragon, first win ever on Show Champion.
Wow.
Congrats to them.
Wow.
And then also first win for CSR 첫사랑 with Love Tikan
Wow.
on Music Bank. That was a
So,
surprise.
They both got their first one ever. The CSR one, I'm not gonna call it super controversial, but people have been talking. They
It was
beat out
surprising.
they
yeah.
beat out Yoonha, so people were very confused because Yoonha's number 1 on iChart. She's like number 1 on almost every chart at the moment. What it came down to was CSR made appearances on a couple of programs on KBS, which is the station that houses Music Bank, right? I think they did a couple of Immortal Song, they had a radio show appearance, and all that combined to give them a very high broadcast score, right? Whether if that's the right thing for Music Bank to have their score like that, that's not up to me. But based on the guidelines of the points that how they give it out, they got way more
system.
points. So CSR wins. Boom. Shout out to them.
Amazing.
Shout outs.
All right. That ends part 1. So just like episode 214. We'll be back after a short break. 3, 2, 1. All right, we are back at it with part 2 of SojuTalk episode 214. Let's go through some news and events from last week. So here are the winners from the 2022 Mama Awards.
Ooh.
They gave out 4 day songs. Mama Platinum, which went to BTS. Artist of the Year, BTS. Album of the Year, BTS's Proof. And Song of the Year day song went to IVE's Love Dive.
Oh.
I picked up their second one.
Second one.
They won 2 day songs this year. That's
In
kind of crazy.
Rookie year, man.
The next award I'll talk about is the World's Fan Choice, which is the Bonsang. So that is pretty much like the second tier award, right? And they do like what many award shows do. They list a bunch of people who are getting it. Blackpink, BTS, and Hypen, GOT7, NCT Dream, psy, 17, Stray Kids, Treasure, TXT.
Wow.
The next awards. Best Male Group went to BTS. Best Female Group went to Blackpink. Best Male Artist went to Im Young-un. Best Female Artist went to Twice's Nayeon with Pop Pop Pop. Best New Artist Male went to Extraordinary Heroes. And Best New Artist Female went to IVE.
Okay, I see.
Look at that.
Interesting.
It's a good lineup.
I feel like they stuck to a lot of the main big company artists.
They did.
How can you not give Bonsang to G-Idol?
Yeah.
They're the ones that are missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
why?
G-Idol's just getting shafted this entire award season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should have at least
Right?
been in Bonsang.
Yeah, at least
Yeah.
put them in there.
Yeah. Like,
They're arguably the second biggest girl group this year. Like top 3 girl groups this
yeah,
year.
of
You gotta
course.
put them in there.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like if I could shift stuff around, right? I would give best female group to G Idol.
Yep.
Blackpink instead, I would probably give to probably album of the year, because while Proof is, don't get me wrong, lovely album, it's also a repackage of everything they've done so far. It's not really a new
Oh,
release
that's
except for a
true.
couple tracks. And I understand that means a lot to their career, but at the same time, like, it's not a full length album. It's just an anthology. It's a bit of a different concept, you know.
Yeah, justice for G Idol. Like they had a fantastic year. Soyeon's probably gonna write a bunch of crazy lyrics. She should make a whole
Diss
like
tracks.
she should make like the comeback or what was it called, the revenge tour. That should be their next like year of
Revenge tour.
concepting, the revenge tour.
You know, if they
Um,
came back with a track called Revenge, I wouldn't be surprised. That sounds like something
Oh
up their
yeah, that
alley
makes
now.
sense.
Right, right. Okay, so let's move on. Hyuna shared that she and Dawn have parted ways but will remain as good friends. She also thanked everyone who has been supporting their relationship.
Man,
That's interesting.
did not see this coming.
Very interesting there.
Yeah.
I thought they got engaged like half a year
I
ago
thought there was
or
a
a couple
ring.
months ago.
Yeah.
Right? There was a ring.
There was a ring.
Well, don't trust the ring. Apparently, good lord.
Oh,
Now-
I mean, I'm glad that it's.
I've seen a lot of discussion
amicable.
of this, how everyone thought, man, I thought they were getting married. I heard other
Yeah.
people thought, like, man, like, Dawn followed her out of Cube, right? Like, I
Right.
saw
Yeah,
that being
both of
said.
them.
They both left P Nation recently. Like, interesting stuff.
Do I believe in love now? Is that still a thing?
I don't know. I don't know. Right?
Dang.
Like, so much effort went into this relationship, and so
Warren's flabbergasted. All right, next one. The Black Label, which y'all know, founded by YG Entertainment and executive producer Teddy, has announced plans for the debut of a girl group through global auditions. Females born after 2004
Jesus.
from anywhere around the
wow.
world can audition for vocal, rap, or dance to join the upcoming girl group. So they are formally. So I guess Baby Monsters, I guess it's not happening.
or
Yeah,
maybe
what
it's
is
both
going
happening.
on?
Or maybe it's YG proper.
Right.
But like,
That's weird timing. Well, I don't
yeah,
know.
but they announced this one. They're saying we're gonna audition. See, it's very similar to me with the Adore stuff. They auditioned kids and then they debuted it, right?
Right.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, if you look at Hybe right now, they basically debuted 2 girl groups in 1 year, right? One through Source, one
Oh,
through
yeah.
Adore. This could be a
And it
similar
worked out
thing.
fantastically for them.
Oh,
when they did
Both
it.
of them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust Black Label enough for this.
How,
There's not a lot of
can we
experience.
get our girl Somi more content?
Yeah.
Like, please.
We're in this holding pattern where, like, 1 year we do Blackpink, 1 we do Somi, another year we'll do Blackpink. Next year, I imagine Somi is getting like 2 singles and an album.
Yeah.
Like, and then Blackpink releases nothing. That's what I'm guessing is gonna happen. Given the current track
I just
record.
wish for someone like Somi, who has such a great personality and everyone knows who she is, that she could be more like visible. You know?
Yeah.
Like make her a fixed member on a variety show or something, right? Like, you know how on Normio Mohani, like what hang out with you with the UJ Suck show, you know how like Miju's on like basically a fixed cast member at this point?
Yeah.
That could have been Somi, honestly. Really could have. Warren's been giving me strange looks. I'm not saying it would have been the same character because I know Miju's like a variety superstar at
The
the moment.
opportunity, though.
Well, that
But
that
the-
show
but-
has so much like input from you just like personally. I feel.
But what I'm
not
saying
sure
is like
if-
Somi could be a fixed role on some kind of show like that. You know?
she could be. That part I do agree with you. I think
Yeah.
she's had opportunity to, but maybe she wasn't lucky. I don't know.
All right, next one. NCSoft is pushing for the sale of its fan platform universe.
Oh Jesus Christ.
NCSoft entered the entertainment industry 2 years ago in an effort to diversify its business. According to the IT industry, NCSoft is in talks with Kakao Entertainment to sell the platform to Starship. Starship is a subsidiary of Kakao.
Let's see.
Okay.
So
Oh.
it seems like Kakao wants it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want it, and they're gonna run it under the Starship umbrella.
The music label of Kakao wants it.
Yes.
Not the software engineering part of Kakao, which is way bigger.
Yeah, so the musical umbrella wants it, and they want it under Starship.
You know how
That's
huge a red flag. That's a ginormous red flag.
is it? Explain why.
A tech company isn't buying a tech platform, but instead a music label is. Think about that for a second. If it's a well-built platform with a lot of good potential, a tech platform is gonna buy it, take all the data, take all the algorithms, take all the back-end structure of everything, use it to their benefit, keep updating it, or create a new platform. That's what Weavers did, right? That's what companies do when they buy other companies. Take a look at Facebook when they tried to buy Snapchat, you know? They see potential in the platform, so they take it and they repurpose it for their future.
Yeah.
The fact that a music label is buying this off of their hands, I don't know. It's look, at the end of the day, all I'm saying is yes, it's a K-pop themed product, but at the end of the day, it's also a platform. It's a technology platform. It's an app.
Yep.
People who know how to run apps should be the ones buying the app, not a music.
Let's just
record
hope we don't get
label.
another Elon Musk situation with Twitter.
Oh, jeez.
All right, next one. 2023 SM Town Live SMCU Palace at Kwangya. That's the name of this, right? Will be
At Kwangya.
broadcasted for free on January 1st. The concert will be free
free?
to view and will be available on the SM Town YouTube channel and the Beyond Live global platform for global audience. In Japan, it can also be viewed through KNTV, LGU Plus, Idol Plus, I don't know what that is, and other platforms. And additionally, on December 26th, the artist of SM will release a never-before-seen collaboration through the agency's new winter album entitled 2022 Winter SM Town SMCU Palace. So they are releasing it. SM's releasing a Christmas album. I
Yeah.
don't think
Like
they've
they
ever done
always
that.
do.
Oh, I thought they
They
released singles,
tend
but
to
not
do
an
it.
album. Am I wrong?
No, I think they've done it before.
Oh, they've done that? Okay, I'm just understanding incorrectly. But they're releasing the album. Then they're going to have a concert on January 1st. And it's going to be free for everyone to watch.
New Year's Day.
Knowing how press releases work, it could be like 2 songs and they could be calling it an album.
That is 100.
yeah.
It could be the song and the instrumental, and it's an album.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that happened. SM had a lot more news, though. So they are planning to set up their Southeast Asian headquarters in Singapore. So the Singapore headquarters will also be managing joint ventures in Indonesia, Vietnam, and Thailand. Isuman stated in an interview that he would like to create NCT Singapore if the opportunity arises. And SM Entertainment told CNBC that it plans to slowly expand not just to other parts of Southeast Asia, but also to the wider continent, including the Middle East.
Okay.
Is it plan or hope? Because where's NCT Hollywood?
Yeah, where is that? Where's NCT? I think it was Africa was the one we wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If we can't even get NCT Hollywood or NCT Australia going or NCT Japan going,
honestly, that was the one that I feel like, okay, that's probably gonna happen within the next year.
Right.
Nothing.
I mean, here's the thing. Japan aside, this does feel like a natural progress in the next step rather than Hollywood or Africa, given how there's a track record of it
yeah.
being successful. Like, if you think about where NCT is based off of, right, it's built off of the AKB model. AKB already has seen success in the Southeast Asian countries. Like, don't they have a
Oh, you
Jakarta?
do? Yep.
yep,
right.
yep, JKT48.
JKT48. Yeah, this is gonna be the NCT JKT or Singapore SNGP. I'm sorry, don't know how 3 letters for Singapore. That's how I see it, especially because the Southeast market is pretty invested in K-pop, right? That's a proven audience. Unlike Hollywood, this sounds cool on paper, but like,
Will it be implemented?
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
JTBC shared that Big Bang's Taeyang will have a solo comeback next month in January.
Oh,
Ooh.
That's gonna be
Ooh.
crazy,
It's a little
right?
Good.
spicy.
I wonder if we're just gonna get something sentimental, or we're gonna get Nunkoi
No.
Part 2, or maybe he's gonna
Something
do
hype.
something Wedding Dress Part 2.
Okay.
No. It should be 2 tracks, right? One should be a ballad like Wedding Dress or
Uh-huh.
Dunkoip. One should be a
Uh-huh.
hip hop banger because that's what he always also likes to
Yes.
do.
Yes.
Do
yes.
A
both.
banger.
Oh, why not?
Featuring G-Dragon.
Oh boy.
Finally, we got documentaries in the pipeline, guys.
Okay.
There's 5 of them that got announced over the past like couple of weeks. I'm just gonna go through all of them. 4 of them Disney Plus. The first one is about NCT 127. It is called NCT 127: The Lost Boys. So
Okay.
it is following the group's growth and success through the years, the eyes of Mark, Johnny, and Utah. So that's happening.
Okay.
There's a Super
okay.
Junior one called The Last Man Standing. It will go. The documentary will go beyond Super Junior's story and learn about the overall K-pop industry. So it's kind of an introduction to K-pop
Wait.
through Super Junior.
Do we really want to name this The Last Man Standing?
I don't know.
When it's a group where people keep leaving? Like, is that what we want to do, really? Like,
The next one, BTS Monuments Beyond the Star. So this documentary will feature unprecedented access to an extensive collection of music and video footage of the band over the past 9 years. So this is like the BTS documentary.
Okay.
Like the documentary.
it's
what it seems like.
BTS to BTS.
Yeah. Next one, J-Hope, Jack in the Box. It will follow J-Hope in the preparation process for the album he released, his iconic performance at Lollapalooza 2022, as well as footage of the album's listening party.
This one makes
Right.
sense the most.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see what the album listening party's like. A lot of cool people were there.
Finally, on Prime Video, so this is through Amazon, right? There's a documentary about Isuman. It is called Isuman, the King of K-pop.
Well, wow.
And in
what
one
a
of the press
statement.
releases I saw, he was described as the Willy Wonka of K-pop. I heard that as well. This documentary will chronicle the enthralling life of the bold visionary Isuman, whose work puts his country on the map, sparked a global movement, and continues to define an era.
Dang.
I'm honestly kind of curious about that one. I got Amazon Prime. I
Yeah.
could probably watch it for free. You know, I'll
I'm
rip it for Anita and upload it to the SojuTalk Google Drive. No.
What are you
Um,
talking about, Doug?
We
That
don't
being
pirate.
said-
What are you talking about?
That being said, like I'm actually very curious about that one because like I don't
Yeah.
know. I know Isuman was a singer back in the day, right? But I
Yeah.
don't know the whole origin
Mhm.
story or like the crap that went on behind the scenes about SM, or the early days of the company. It didn't Boa save it with her money making, right?
She didn't save it, but she brought a humongous amount of success
A
to
huge
it. Yeah.
deal. Yeah.
What I'm excited for is listening to Lee Suman's mosquito voice for over an hour. Like,
I can see that. I can see that.
hello everybody.
Overall, I think that one will be very fascinating, regardless of what they
Mhm.
show. And then in terms of music, so let me I have written here the ones that are coming out recent. I'm just gonna go through the end of the year because this is our last regular episode, right?
Okay.
So
Mhm.
the stuff coming out tomorrow, we have The Boys on the 6th. There's a Shinhwa subunit which is debuting tomorrow.
Ooh.
On December 7th, there's a C9 Entertainment Christmas song. And then let's see. All right, there was supposed to be a Wavy thing on December 9th, but it got postponed. December
Aw.
12th, Chinese Mino is gonna make his solo debut.
Yeah.
15th Super Junior, 19th NCT Dream, 19th New Jeans apparently. So we
Ooh.
might not cover them this year, but we will cover the stuff next year in some of the first few episodes that we miss over.
Yes.
Okay. That wraps up part 2. SojuTalk episode 214. After the break, we don't got too much planned, so if you're really here for the K-pop stuff, this is your time to dip, right? You want to hear us ramble about the World Cup, maybe the holidays, things like that. We'll talk about it after break, guys. See you then. 3, 2, 1. All right. Open discussion. We don't have too much planned for today. We're just gonna talk about some things. Maybe talk about the holidays real quick. World Cup though.
Oh,
All of our teams lost. we're done. We're
Yeah,
done. We're done,
it's
guys.
over.
Yeah, I don't know how else to say it. Anita's team didn't make it out of the groups, right?
It was so
Yeah.
close. Literally,
They're very
like
close.
last
very
minutes.
close.
The American team, we got through the groups, and then it just
Did not.
lost. we just lost to yeah, that happened.
Netherlands.
The Netherlands, right?
Yeah.
To be fair, that Netherlands team is looking better than anyone thought they would.
They were great, actually. I was very surprised.
So everyone thought, okay, Netherlands, they have
Yeah.
Virgil van Dijk, they
Yeah.
have like De Ligt, they have Frankie De Jong. Everyone's like, they have good players, but no one was sure about what's going to happen up front. Memphis Depay's been playing fantastically, and Cody Gakpo is on fire at the moment. It's crazy. He's gonna go for so much more money now. We had the Korea team. We had the miracle in Doha happened.
Yes.
We somehow made it out of the group. We had Uruguay only win by 2 goals, and then they did a bunch of like bullshit after the game, right? They knocked down a TV. They screamed at the
Dang.
ref. One guy celebrated a penalty miss in front of the ref. Like,
Dude, Suarez was crying.
He was not doing
that
well.
being said,
Yeah.
Suarez deserves every bit of that. That man has been the most dirty player over the last 10 years.
He bites people.
He used to be known as the cannibal of Ajax at one
Yes.
point in his career.
I mean, it's really ironic because if you think about it, he began his World Cup career as one of the most controversial fouls with the
Yes, with the
Handy-boy.
handball versus Ghana back
Right.
in the day.
and that was the Ghana game, and it ends his World Cup career ends with the Ghana game where they're taking
Wow.
revenge. It's a great narrative, you know, if you think about it.
And then he had the balls to post on SNS that like no one respects Uruguay, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. blah.
How about you stop being racist first, and we'll think about that, buddy.
He bit Chiellini, he bit someone else. He apparently called Evra some words back in the day. I remember. And then you have other people on their team, like Fede Valverde was celebrating when Ghana missed a penalty in front of the referee. He's like, "You shouldn't have given it," ha ha ha. Right? Like,
Mm.
and then Cavani knocked down a TV after the VAR TV after the
Cavani,
game.
What?
Come on,
So
you're an
that'll
adult.
happen.
Stop being
Yeah.
stupid.
Bunch of shithousery happened there. So Korea made it through because we beat Portugal. Sonny made a huge run. He nutmegged the defender to pass it to Hwang Hee-chan, and he finished it cleanly. That was ridiculous.
That was a good
I was
shot.
watching it from
Mhm.
our fishing store. We were freaking out when it happened.
I literally, I was first of all, I was not on the couch because I was like standing in front of the TV, and then I collapsed on the floor and started crying after seeing that. Like that was so
Jeez.
emotional for us,
It hit you.
dude. Like,
That was the least likely outcome, was us making it out.
here's the thing: it happened like at the last. It happened in the extra time. Like
It happened in 90+1, I think, or 90+2.
Yeah, the funny thing was they gave us 6 minutes, and we were like, only 6 minutes, and then 1 minute in, it goes in, and then we're like, why is 6 minutes?
And then now.
And then now, call
And then the
whistle.
Ghana game was like, why is it +10 on that game?
Why is
Uruguay almost scored so many times in that game. They should have probably gotten that second penalty as well. Kind of crazy.
Yeah. The thing was like at the end of the Korean game, someone collapsed on the floor. He threw down his mask. He started like crying like a madman from happiness. I did a gif of that on Twitter. That is now my most liked and retweeted tweet now.
Great. Nice.
The thing is, the funny part was he was going through this emotional moment, and one of our players, Oh Hyun-gyu, incredibly young kid, I think he's like very young, he like ran towards the captain, and he's like, and he pulls out his phone, and he's like, hey, the other game isn't over yet. We're not making it's not decided
Oh, no.
yet. And you have like crying son like pushing him out of the way.
So that was incredible. Honestly,
Yeah.
Korea's goal was to just make it out of the group this year.
And they did.
100%.
And we did. So we
Yes.
accomplished our goal. Then we got smashed by Brazil today. Brazil is playing on top form. They have some of the best players in the world. The double wings of Vinny Jr. on the left, Rafinha on the right, with Neymar playing Cam, and Richarlison
Yeah.
up front is ridiculous at the moment. There's no stopping that. And then behind them, they don't even need too many defenders, but they got like Militao, they got Thiago Silva, and you have Casemiro at CDM. No one's going past those three dudes typically. Fantastic.
I think for the most part, what was really cool about the Brazil game, like from a Korean perspective, was that there were basically two options for us, right? One is to pull out and go full defense mode and just hope we somehow make it out. And then the other was to actually keep doing what we were doing, possessing the ball, trying to control the game. And for the most part, we stuck to doing the second part. And the moments that worked really well because we gave the defense on Brazil some difficult times. Although near the second half, it also felt like they were going easy on us because they kind of felt bad.
And but they didn't want to get hurt. They didn't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
They started switching people,
Dude, they switched in their third goalkeeper. And I was like,
Weaverton, right? I think Weaverton.
Yeah, I don't even know his name. I was like,
I felt bad for Ederson. He didn't even get the play. Ederson was probably like, what the F, coach? I'm clearly the second best goalkeeper on this team.
But I think for the most part, this is... As a Korean person who grew up with 2002 in the background of my life, World Cups is a very special event for us.
Oh, for sure.
Especially for me, because after 2002, I came to Canada, I came to America, and I was here, and I was like, yeah, like Korea did so well in the 2002 World Cups. We're like, sure, we're not Uruguay or Brazil or Portugal, but we're kind of not, we're not awful. Now that being said, we're way better than where we were in 1998 or like 2006. That's what I think. But at the same time, one thing I noticed that was very, very popular in the West was like people saying how like the 2002 World Cups were rigged and like Korean bought their way into like all those victories. And to a degree, sure, there were some contentious contentious refereeing and judging, but there's no evidence out there that Koreans bought their way into anything. And I understand obviously the FIFA organization as a whole is pretty corrupted as shit.
It's so corrupt.
Yeah. I mean, the World Cup's happening in Qatar this year. Come on. But for the most part, there's no evidence that we bought our way into it. And at the same time, people were downplaying the amount of effort and the quality of the games that went
and the miracle goals we scored on an offensive side too.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Yes, there were some contentious judgments, but at the same time, we did play really fucking well. And because I was young, people were connecting that to my identity, especially because I was the only Korean kid around at school, and they were like, "Oh, you just." Like, I would do well on an exam, and they'd be like, "Oh, you just rigged your way into that." And I was like, "What the fuck?
What the heck?
Yeah."
What?
And that was a thing for a while. So that part was something in the I'm not traumatized by it, but it's in the background where, like, I always felt like I know we can do well. There are certain realistic limitations that hold us back. And this year, 2022, I really feel like proof that we have a lot of potential and we have something good in us and we can actually play. Like one of the reasons I'm like so excited that I was so excited about our current, well, now former manager Paulo Bento was he was actually around for 4 years. He actually had a plan. The management was behind him. It was really ironic. The narrative behind this is really crazy where like he played for Portugal in 2002.
Yep.
And Portugal got kicked out because Korea beat Portugal. That was his final game in the World Cups. Korea beating him.
It happened again.
And after that, he became the manager of the Portugal team, which did well for a while, but then they kind of shat the bed a couple times and he got kicked out. He got replaced by essentially his mentor in Portugal. So basically that was his like, I lost everything. I lost the World Cups as a player. I lost the World Cups as a coach. It's all gone for me. And then at that point, he went to a couple other places. But after a while, Korea was like, "Hey, you want to come join us?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And we end up with a situation. It feels like a shonen anime. It feels we end up with a situation where he is managing the very team that kicked him out of the World Cups as a player. He's playing against his home country of Portugal that is led by his former teacher, and he is in this position where he needs to prove himself against his former failures and his former teachers. Yeah. Sorry, what were you trying to say?
Like, this sounds like a show.
Dude, it was a great shonen narrative. I'm telling you, like, you could make a movie out of this. And I feel like, to a degree, seeing that Portugal victory in the Portugal game, that's where, like, emotionally it hit a lot for me, because, like, I know that for him it meant a lot. And then, like, for us, it was like an underdog story where we, like, began 1-0 and we caught another goal in, and then one more at the very end, and, like, you know. I don't know. This is the most shonen World Cups I've seen. Like, how
does it not feel like we're heading to either, like, okay, it looks like we're heading to either Mbappe versus Neymar, or we're heading towards Messi versus Ronaldo, one of those two outcomes.
In the rest of the World Cup, yes.
It feels like it's heading towards one of those two destiny matches.
I feel like it would be so like dramatic if it was Messi and Ronaldo.
Messi and Ronaldo in the final would be the most ridiculous. It would be the most watched soccer game of all time, and it would literally determine the legacy.
Of course,
of those two players.
Yeah.
I do think, like, an Mbappe Neymar.
I think that's a more likely option, to be honest, to happen.
That I feel like I'm a little more excited by. Well, I got my fair share of story. I don't need more storylines. I'm very full now.
But the Neymar and Mbappe would also be so hype.
I know.
It would be so hype. People would be talking so much shit about that game too.
Unlike Argentina, Brazil's actually playing for Neymar, so.
God, I hope we get one of those two matchups, because I think just the storylines would be insane.
Watch it.
It'd be Mbappe versus Neymar. Who's the main guy at PSG? Who's the bigger guy? Right? Like, it might ruin the friendship at PSG, and one of them might leave after the World Cup. You know?
Like, that's unprofessional. I'm sure they wouldn't do that.
But if there was Messi Ronaldo, it would literally be the game of the century. Honestly.
I mean,
of course.
I mean, I don't know. I'll be honest. Like, Ronaldo, Messi, awesome people, great legacy, geniuses. But I have a clear favorite of the two.
Messi's okay. As the biggest Ronaldo fanboy over the past, like, 5-7 years, right?
Yeah.
Messi's clear. Wanted to say that. Messi's clear.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, I would have been more excited about it maybe 4 years ago, but, like, obviously that didn't happen. I don't know. I just don't feel like Ronaldo's in his best form right now, I'll be honest.
If I was Messi, like, literally, if I'm him, and let's say we win the World Cup, I would just retire that day. I'd be like, I'm done. Like, that's it.
I think he's going to.
I would be like, I'm done, so see y'all. Peace.
I mean, at this point, if he gets that, he's gotten everything, right?
He's got nothing to prove at that point.
Right.
I think.
He's basically proved himself as the GOAT.
Yep. Okay. World Cup. It's been fun. I like it. We got the final stage of the round of 16 tomorrow. It is Morocco versus Spain. Spain's obviously favored there. And then we have Portugal versus Switzerland, which honestly, Portugal might lose that because they haven't been looking too hot the entire tournament.
I mean, Korea beat them.
The Swiss, dude. The Swiss. They got some decent players on that team. Zakaria.
My boy Zaka.
Zaka's on that team. They've been playing pretty well, so it could happen. Finally, you got something else to say about World Cup?
Oh, no, you can keep saying.
Last main episode of 2022. Been a fun year. We're gonna record the review episode tomorrow, I believe. That should come out in 2 weeks. Hey, I wish everyone at home a happy holidays. Hope everything's goes well for you and your family. Safe travels if you're traveling. Even if you're not traveling and you live in a cold place, beware of black ice. Don't hurt yourself or break a hip or something.
Careful out there.
All of that. Hey, SojuTalk's gonna come big in 2023, right, guys? Yes.
Are we not already big? What are you talking about?
All right, we're gonna come even bigger. We're gonna be massive girth in 2023.
What?
Yes.
Girth.
All right.
I thought length is more important. What are you talking about?
Motion of the ocean.
What?
Other than that, some quick reminders. Join the Discord SojuTalk. That discord.gg/SojuTalk. Join the Minty Joy giveaway. Additionally, do the Winter World Cup thing as well, right?
K-pop World Cup. I renamed it.
Okay, Winter K-pop World Cup.
No, winter's not in the name anymore. Vote
K-pop
K-pop
World
WC.
Cup. Both of those are on the Discord, so if you want to interact with us, go to that. Other than that, I guess we'll see you guys for our next regular episode in 2023. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.